Hello everybody, my name is Joy. Welcome to the 7th chapter of the Phasmophobia Ghost Compendium featuring the Jinn. The footage for this video was recorded previous to the new patch that came out recently on Ridgeview Roadhouse on a professional solo job.
Alright, we're here. Take a look at the equipment and prepare accordingly before starting the investigation. I've also written some notes on the whiteboard if you need them.
Being pre-patched, the Jinn in this video is still having its original speed while hunting instead of speeding up while having line of sight on its target. While upstairs, I heard an object move in one of the adjacent rooms that led me to the ghost room. Upon entering, I was confronted with an instant EMF 5 reading, so I started setting up to gather the rest of the evidence while hoping not to see fingerprints indicating a possible revenant. Luckily, even though I heard this closet door move, there were no fingerprints on it, so I returned to the truck to grab a spirit box. Are you here?
Yes.
How old are you? The spirit box tested positive, leaving me with a possible Jinn or Oni. I would have needed orbs for Jinn or ghostwriting for the Oni. I also smudged the room for the objective and returned to the truck to look for orbs. Even with the lights I accidentally left on, I saw an orb floating on the very first camera I set up, so my Jinn was confirmed. I grabbed the crucifix and returned to the house hoping for a ghost photo or other interaction pictures. Since the Jinn I was facing was relatively passive, I decided to start setting up to record the Jinn's special trait in action. While the power source of the building is on, the Jinn moves faster during hunts as long as it is away from players. To demonstrate this, I set up my sensors that were 4 seconds apart for my player. Upon approaching an investigator, the Jinn's speed will revert to normal. That made it possible to loop these ghosts pre-patch. Once the hunt started, I headed downstairs while grabbing a smudge stick and waited for the ghost to follow me. As you can see here, the Jinn zoomed to me, taking less than 3 seconds to activate both sensors since I left the breaker on. It is important though that since the new patch, after catching up to the player, the Jinn, like any other ghost, will start gaining speed as long as it has line of sight on them, making them probably the most dangerous type of ghost currently in the game. I returned to the truck at around 35% sanity, took some pills and grabbed some salt since my photo book was disappointingly empty. Jinns are known to have affinity to electronics. They interact more often with light switches and electronic devices than other ghosts, and they don't seem to mind if the breaker is on, often turning back on a breaker that the player leaves off to avoid the Jinn's in-hunt speed boost. The amount of these interactions though will still depend on the individual Jinn you're facing. Note that while taking footprint pictures, you can take as many pictures as footprints you see. And just like in this case, footprints often overlap with each other, so you may want to count the amount of steps you heard. After almost completing my photo collection, I still needed a picture of the ghost, but even though I did witness a ghost event, the ghost refused to manifest, so instead I decided to show you how the Jinn moves during a hunt when the breaker is off. As the hunt began, I headed downstairs. Whenever you try to conduct a speed test on any type of ghost, having a smudge stick in hand is highly recommended. It will save your life countless times. With the breaker off, my Jinn took 4 seconds from one sensor to another. He was moving just as slow as any other ghost would, and took the same time I did while I was walking between the sensors earlier. After the hunt, I returned to the truck and took pills to be able to stay in the ghost room for a while without getting hunted in order to get the photo of the ghost. To conserve my sanity, I also brought a candle that I lit. I made sure to stand nearby it for the entirety of the time. After a quick succession of 2 ghost events, an unexpected hunt began. This was explained by the 16% sanity I had upon returning to the truck. On a map this size, you'll passively lose around 6% sanity during a hunt phase if you are playing solo and not being chased by the ghost. So there was a deficit in my sanity that went from 67% to 16%. That cannot be explained by not standing near a candle, since the candle was in the room the whole time. This was probably the Jinn using its ability. While the breaker is on, the Jinn has the power to instantly lower every player's sanity in a 3-meter radius by 25%, causing the entire team to lose a large amount of sanity instantly should you all be in the ghost room. Immediately after witnessing an extra short ghost event and failing to take the ghost picture, another ghost event occurred, instantly followed by another hunt. With all my objectives complete and my journal full, it was time for me to leave. And that was the Jinn, a ghost characterized by EMF 5, spirit box, and ghost orbs. A ghost that prefers interacting with electronic devices, light switches, and the breaker, and becomes increasingly aggressive as time goes by, providing more and more ghost events. A ghost that can instantly lower your sanity by standing in its radius and moves faster during hunts while away from the player, but loses these abilities once the power source of the building is out. This concludes the 7th chapter of the Phasmophobia Ghost Compendium. Thank you all for watching, and see you on the field.